day 6. Yay. Today is day 6 of the Imperfection sessions. And for 14 days, I've challenged myself to go live and share encouragement and some words of wisdom. And today's day 6. So that's exciting. I didn't know if I was going to make it this far, but here we are. So yay. I wanted to talk about something different today than I had actually planned to talk about. And it's important because I was doing an interview with an artist named Kyla Simone. She's the founder of Girls and Guitars, and I was interviewing her for my podcast, Black Girls Make Music. And we were talking about learning the guitar and being an artist and how oftentimes we downplay ourselves. And I realized in that interview that I was downplaying myself all the time. Now, let me explain. I'm not saying that I'm some sort of like prolific guitarist. I'm not, and this is what she corrected me on earlier too, by calling myself, kind of like a basic musician. I was just really like downplaying what I had been doing. So over the past, I don't know how many years, I've been trying to learn guitar off and on, but I've recently committed to learning it. And so I brought it with me, and hopefully at the end of the session, I'll play you a song that I'm trying to learn. But the point of me bringing that up was to say that I wasn't celebrating the big wins. I didn't find myself valuable. I didn't find myself worthy of being celebrated because I wasn't on stages performing with my guitar. I'm not singing and performing with my guitar. I'm not, teaching other people how to play. I'm not what I would consider a professional guitarist. And so I realized that this is a problem that a lot of people have just in their day-to-day lives, this feeling of having these huge dreams and then not knowing how to achieve them. And then in the process of you learning how to get to that dream, you discount yourself constantly, right? And so you might have like this big goal. And right now, from where you're standing, it looks huge. It looks like you'll never be able to reach it. It looks like, there's no point in chasing it because it's just too big. So 2 things can happen, which are mistakes. Number 1, you try to do everything at once. You try to be professional right away, right out the gate. You try to avoid all the learning curves and all the failures and all the missteps and just go straight for the goal. And so you bite off more than you can chew. And oftentimes that leads to burnout, it leads to discouragement. It leads to low self-esteem because you put too much on yourself. It's almost like you injure yourself, right? Like if you're not training for a competition and you just jump into the competition, you might injure your body because your body's not trained to take that much pressure, to take that much exercise all at once. The second mistake that you can do, the second thing that you can do wrong is doing nothing at all. And I struggle with this, like just being paralyzed, right? It's this feeling of like, it's a feeling of inadequacy where it's like, well, it's just too big. I can't do it. Forget it. Like, forget about it. And so you forsake this goal and this dream because you don't feel like you're worthy enough. You don't feel like you're good enough to chase it. You don't feel like you have the chops. You don't have the know-how and the knowledge and the experience to do it. And it makes sense because you don't have the experience. You don't have the times of learning, and you don't have a like a backlog of successes to back up this want to chase this dream. And so you're only one person. You can only do so much. So in some instances, you just need to have the grace with yourself. Like biting off more than you can chew, you're going to be burnt out and not doing anything at all. You're going to be discouraged. And that dream usually just keeps coming back. It doesn't just go away. It keeps coming back. And then you reinforce reasons why you're not good enough. And you tell yourself, well, you didn't chase this dream. So, you're not good enough. It's not going to pan out well for yourself. So my tip and what I'm trying to implement in my own life is to break those goals down into smaller steps. So what is a small step or an action that you can do today to put yourself in line to achieve that goal, right? Using what you already have, not attaining more knowledge, not attaining more skill, because while you are trying to acquire those skills and that knowledge, you still want to be making actions that'll put yourself further along in your journey. For example, if you want to perform on stages, right? If you want to perform for millions of people, if you want to, play to sold out arenas, you know what I mean? You starting out as an artist, you can be really discouraged because like, where do I even start? What do I even do? No one is watching my stuff at all. Like, what can I do? And so what I would suggest is starting smaller, right? So you could, go on Instagram Live, you can go on Facebook Live and perform for people. You can host what I would recommend, what I would love to do once all this is cleared up, I would love to host a house concert with just my friends and my family. And the reason why I would do it that way is because, one, you are getting practice in performing, right? You're getting practice in performing, but you're also performing for people who love you, who would encourage you, who would support you. If they offer words of criticism, it's constructive. It's not destructive. And so that's the thing. If you're an unpracticed musician, if you're an unpracticed or an unskilled performer, if you go out on stages and you perform for thousands of people and they don't know you, they could say anything and it would just break you, right? It would break your self-esteem. It would break the hope that you would have in chasing your dream. It would feel unattainable because these people who don't care about you, who don't hold you dear and near, are saying all these harsh criticisms about yourself. Another example is if you want to write a book, right? You want to write a book, you want to sell it, you want millions of people to buy your book, but you haven't started with doing anything. You haven't done anything. And so it could feel like, well, geez, this dream is so unattainable. It's so out of reach for me, right? What you could do, again, is blog. You could write little lines on Twitter, a little prolific, just like little blurbs of, word vomit or something. Like you can use what you already have to build your skill, to build your chops. So what is a small version of what you want to do in your life? What do you ultimately want to do? And how can you use what you already have, the experience you've already acquired, the people you have access to, the resources you have access to get started on your dream? Say again, if you want to be like Oprah, if you want to have your own talk show, right? There are plenty of people out here right now with their own vlogs, with their own radio shows, using things like Spoon or Instagram Live, Facebook Live, just hosting their own podcasts. And they're not waiting until someone hands them, a network to syndicate their show to. They're doing this stuff right now with what they have. And so I feel like a lot of times we stop ourselves from getting as far as we can, by seeing what we have and seeing what we have access to, comparing it to what the stars have access to, and, proclaiming like, oh, we're not good enough. What we're doing is not good enough. It's not big enough. But I want to push this idea that sometimes smaller is better. Smaller is better. So if you want to run a daycare, if your ultimate goal, and this is so to remove from the example, like just like fame, right? If you want to own a daycare, maybe you should start off by just watching your friends' kids for free, getting experience, getting them to give good words for you, get good reviews. And you can use that further in your next step when you want to open your daycare, when you have a space to open it, even if you want to use your home, you have some credit so people can like, oh, this person has really good reviews on their thing, but it takes you actually doing the work right now. So there are benefits to taking smaller steps, right? For one, like I said, the world and hustle culture will tell you that if it's not big and sexy and like, just mind blowing, it doesn't count. Sorry, y'all, there's someone cutting grass in the back. So sorry if you can hear that, but we're gonna keep on going. But yeah, they'll tell you that if it's not huge, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. And it's not true. Every single step, every single small win counts. Everything counts. If you want to lose weight, right? Or if you just want to get in shape, let's not even talk about weight. If you want to lose the mindset of like, if I'm not buff, what I'm saying, then my fitness journey doesn't count. That's not true. You getting up in the morning, going for a walk. We talked about this before. You going for a walk, that counts. That should be celebrated. You actually clocking into the gym, right? That should be celebrated. You walking on that treadmill for 30 minutes, even if you're not pumping iron, even if you're not doing CrossFit, even if you're not doing those ropes thingies, like you showing up, that counts. And so my husband has to tell me this all the time because I have a Fitbit, and sometimes I forget to wear it. But when I do wear it, sometimes it's discouraging because I'm like, well, dang, I didn't burn as many calories as I wanted to. I didn't go as hard as I wanted to. And his thought is just show up every day. Just show up every day. All these little things make big impact. It's like a snowball effect, right? Better you walk around your house every day for the next month than you just sitting still and being like, oh, it's not big enough, it doesn't count. No, your body will know the difference. Your body will know that you're moving around. You'll feel different in your body. And so just as those small examples with exercising, you can implement that in your own everyday lives. So we celebrate the person getting their official LLC, but we don't celebrate nor do we see them doing the work behind the scenes before they even got there. We think that getting an LLC is the success. No, this is success is actually in you starting. It's actually in you trying. You showing up every day, you trying, you finding out this how things work in the background, you polling people to figure out who's your audience, like that stuff. That stuff is the hard work. That is the hard work that nobody sees and nobody really wants to celebrate because it's not sexy. The work doesn't seem sexy. Achieving the goal, like the name, the letters, and all this other stuff, that's more appealing to people. And so a lot of times those moments and those instances go unnoticed because it's not fun, you know? So, or we don't want to celebrate our own wins, right? When we're focused on the big, lofty goal, we don't focus on how we're killing it every day, right? And so you killing it doesn't have to look like the professional version of whatever you're doing. So for example, what I'm going to show you later, the guitar, right? So I'm learning the guitar. I'm trying every day, my little fingers hurt, but every day I'm trying to show up and still practice a song. Now, someone would tell me, don't share that. Don't share what you're doing because it doesn't count. Like you shouldn't want to embarrass yourself like that and all this other stuff. But that's the thing, like it's the process. It's the process of learning and growing, right? So in this process, yeah, I don't sound that great. It takes a long time for me to go from chord to chord. Like it's hard for me to sing and play at the same time because I'm concentrating, right? So I'm not the end version of what I want to be, but I still should celebrate every time I pick up that guitar and strum. Every time I pick it up, it's a win. And I don't have to wait till I'm Santana or whoever to celebrate myself. So like I said, all of it matters. And so now we're gonna talk about the benefits of actually going small or celebrating the small wins. So the first one, by celebrating small wins, you prove to yourself that you're capable of hard things, okay? So we talked about how courage is a muscle a few days ago, how like, you know, we don't do things because we're not brave, but the only way to become brave is to do the thing. The only way to gain that muscle, the only way to like, to gain that muscle and that confidence in self is to prove to yourself that you can do hard things. You know what I mean? Me getting on here on this live, right? Today, I'm a lot calmer than I was on day one. And it's only, and not saying like I am where I want to be, but like, it's only because I'm proving to myself that I can do this, that I can show up, that I'm not going to die, right? It's me proving to myself that those little things, me pressing go live, like that proves that I can do scary, hard things because it is scary to show up here. It is nerve wracking. This is live, so I can't edit what I'm going to say. Sometimes I trip over my words, but I'm showing myself that stuff doesn't matter. Like you showing up matters, and you showing up proves that you can do hard things. So like we talked about, courage is a muscle. So you engaging that muscle, that's the only way you're going to build that courage muscle, right? So, and you know, speaking hypothetically, if you wanted to go to the gym and you want to work out, you pumping iron once is not going to build muscle. If that's your goal, right? If your goal is to build muscle, you know that you have to do a lot of things to gain that muscle, whether that is the way you eat, whether that's how you exercise, like all that stuff proves that you can do it. It proves that you can do it. It's been done. So you're building endurance. That's my point. You're building endurance for the hard journey of achieving your dream. So the first step you take is always worth a celebration. Like I said, when you walk in the gym, you should pat yourself on the back. I'm here because honestly, that stops me from going in all the time. Sometimes I just don't want to go. It's not about not being able to carry out the workout. It's just that I just really don't want to go. I don't want to show up, but you showing up is half the battle. So now I wanted to show you, I got a journal because I want to keep record of my small wins because it's really easy. It's really hot in here, but it's also really easy for me to forget the things that I've done, the progress that I'm making, especially when I take a break from something. So every day I should be writing, you showed up for a live every day. You got on here in front of people, like who knows who's watching, right? Even if no one is, like you're showing that you can do the hard things. And so I want to use this notebook to write down every win, every small win that I accomplish so that when I'm down on myself, when it's easy to just like berate myself and say, you're not really making any progress, you're not doing anything. Look at where you are, look at where you want to be, like it's so far. You can see that you're actually making progress. So I would recommend you actually keeping tally or keeping score of all the wins. Everything is a show up. Like, I don't even mean like, okay, so using the exercise example, I wouldn't even write down like, oh yeah, you know, I worked out for this long. Like start small, start like I showed up to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're doing a live, I press go live, like just start there. Because we can always find a reason why we're not worthy. We can always find a reason why what we're doing isn't good enough. And I do that all the time. So I'm going to start writing down all of my small wins, and I recommend you do this too. So yeah, so I discount myself so often. And in that interview, Kyla, pulled me up, told me about myself, like, stop doing that. Stop. And you do it so much, you don't even realize how often we tear ourselves down. And what we say to ourselves, we remember. What we say to ourselves matters. What we say to ourselves is taken by ourselves as truth. So if you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, if you keep telling yourself that what you're doing isn't good enough, then you're really gonna believe that what you're doing isn't good enough. Another positive thing about starting small is that it gives you the opportunity to practice in public. So if your goal is to perform for thousands of people, right? If you have a cult following, if you make a mistake, it's in front of everybody, right? If you change your mind, you're going to disappoint a lot of people. The benefit of being a beginner is that no one cares. You know what I mean? No one cares. Like, I'm doing these lives. I don't have thousands of people following me. No, thousands of people are not watching this video. And so that could be discouraging because, like, oh, well, I want thousands of people to whatever. But right now, while I'm beginning, while I'm figuring out, while I'm working out the kinks, while I'm working out the software, while I'm testing what I want to do, I have maybe a few friends that show up here and they're loving and they're kind and they're supportive. And if they give me criticism, it's going to be constructive. So I have the freedom to play around because I don't owe anybody anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different if, like, when you're famous, when a famous celebrity, someone you follow, makes a change, everybody notices it. It's everywhere. If they go ghost, if they change their style, it's really disappointing to a lot of people. They let a lot of people down, and it's sad because they don't have that freedom to just change what they want to do because they're responsible for a lot of people. And I'm being careful with that language too, because it's not necessarily true, but their fans think that they owe them something, right? And so if you don't have no fans, if you're just starting out, you can play around, you can mess up, you can edit, you can delete, you can add things, you can change the whole thing around without the pressure of being perfect, without the pressure of having to perform at a certain level, because no one really knows what to expect. No one really cares. No one really cares. So the example of the house concert I gave earlier, you want to perform for millions of people or thousands of people in an arena. You having the house concert in your house, your friends are going to be there supportive. They don't care if your voice cracks. They don't care if a string pops. They don't care if the sound is not working. They're patient. They're working with you. And the benefit of that is you have the freedom to be flexible, to mess up, to make mistakes. And then, when you get to that stage of 1,000 people, you have perfected this so much in the small house concerts that now when you're in the arena, you know what I'm saying? You know what you're doing. You halfway know what you're doing, because every level brings a new thing to learn. But you have the muscle memory to be like, I can do this. I've done 100 house concerts. I can do an arena of 1,000 people, So yes. So also you have the ability to build good form and build a good foundation. So if you're, like I said, if I were to just sign up for a marathon, I would not survive. Like, survive as in finish. I probably would not finish. I'm out of shape. I'm not doing that because I know I'm going to end up looking silly, and I'm also probably going to injure myself. I'm going to either overexert or run wrong. There are people who train for like triathlons for years, right? Because they know the work that it takes to build the muscle, the work that it takes to build the form and the good foundation. And without that, if you just go in there just blindly, you'll risk injuring yourself. In the same way, if you are just out here, just like, I'm just going to go ham, I'm just going to go hard. And then when people criticize you, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, when you fall on your face, when you have to pivot, you won't have that former energy or the good foundation to still think well of yourself. You'll injure your self-esteem. You'll injure your pride. You'll injure, your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because you wanted something so much bigger than what you were ready for. And it's okay to just be ready for the small things. It's okay. Like I said before, you build your self-esteem. You set yourself up for success and not for your demise. So if you make these goals that are like small and reachable, every win will feel amazing, right? If it's like, okay, let's keep using the exercise example. If you're like, okay, I just want to move today, that's my goal. You walk up and down the steps 5 times, that is a win. And then you feel good about yourself. You're like, yes, I'm pumped. Like, I can do more, right? And so the problem that I have is when I have a little small win that I just automatically want to jump to big. And jumping to big is not the healthiest thing. No, keep doing that 5 rep step walk up and down for like 2 weeks. Build your endurance, build your strength. Then go walk around the block for 2 weeks. Then after that, go walk around a track 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Maybe pick up a jog. Like, setting up the foundations is so important. Setting up good form. And again, if you go in the gym and you have no good form and you're like lifting weights and doing what you saw on TV or on Instagram or whatever, because this is what people said is successful, you will probably hurt your back. Like, if someone's not spotting me and showing me good form, like, I lift weights horribly. I have horrible form. And there are people who train for this stuff so that they don't injure themselves. And that's why they have trainers, so that they can help you along the way. That's a whole other point I didn't write down. But if you attach yourself to a trainer, someone who's been there, someone who knows what they're talking about, and been where you have been, it's encouraging because you can see, like, oh, the process of start to finish. And I really feel like that's one reason why people should practice on stage. Show people the imperfections. Show people how you messed up, how you had to pivot, not fail, but how you had to pivot. Show people how you had one dream that looked like this, and later on it looked totally different, and now you're really content. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the more that we're honest about our journey, the more that we're honest about where we are, about what we want, about the things that sting and the things that hurt, I feel like that helps other people along too, because they don't feel so crazy when things don't go their way. They don't feel like all hope is lost when they fail. So yeah, therefore, when you take greater risks, you want to do it when you're healthier, when you're in a better place. Practice building your self-esteem. Write down all of your wins. Tell yourself that you can do this. Tell yourself that you're capable of doing hard things. And I don't even mean like from this point forward, look back on your own life and look at the hard times you thought you would not get through. And you're here, you're alive. If you're watching this, you're alive, right? The things that you never thought you would get through, you got through. The stuff you never thought you would figure out, you figured out. You're capable of hard things. And I feel like it's time that we start to celebrate ourselves more often. So part of why I'm doing this video is because I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm capable of doing the hard things, the things that are uncomfortable, the things that aren't necessarily pretty or planned or like perfect. Like, again, I'm doing live because if I were to leave it to my own devices, it has to be perfect. It has to look this way. I have to have, good lighting. It has to be edited well. And it's like, no, bump all that. I'm removing all of the roadblocks in my own way, all the fake rules that I put in my head to say, this is what perfection looks like. This is what progress looks like. Progress, again, is just me going live and me just showing up. So the only way to build confidence is to keep on going. That is the only way to build confidence. A lot of people wait. Like, we love waiting. We love being like, okay, well, when I get this, then I'm gonna do it. When I become brave enough to do it, when I lose weight, when I, graduate, when I, whatever, like we can think of a million reasons to wait on actually implementing some action because we think it has to look big. But the thing is, every day you can do something small to push your vision, your idea forward. I can go on live unpolished, unrehearsed, unready, and get what I'm saying out. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take a leap now. So I'm going to try to do something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to perform kind of on live, and it's not going to look polished. It's going to be messy. I'm going to mess up, I'm sure. But I've been practicing, and I kind of just want to share that. And so I'm practicing in public. I'm trying to do what I'm telling other people to do. Right. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, do this. It's amazing. Yay. And then you not see me doing the work to put in to like, okay, but where's your sacrifice? Right. So I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. I'm going to be brave and try to build that courage muscle. Because the worst that can happen is that I do sing off. The worst that could happen is that I play the wrong key. Like, it's not the end of the world, and it shouldn't stop me, nor should it stop you from doing the things that you want to do. So I'm going to show you that if I'm capable of doing hard things, so are you. So like we always say, like the scripture says, don't despise humble or small beginnings. Do what you can with what you have, and you win. That's it. Once you do what you can with what you have, you automatically win. You don't have to compare your apples to somebody else's apples or even apples to oranges, right? You showing up, you being yourself, you being brave, that is you winning. That is how you win. And so, like I said, every small win counts. Every single small win. So celebrate yourself. Throw yourself a little fiesta. Pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go to the gym and you work out, I mean, not right now, clearly, but like if you do make a step in what you want to do, say you just walk around the block, treat yourself, eat some fruit or something. I don't know if eating ice cream is kind of productive, but that's how I reward myself, with treats. So treat yourself. I'm a big believer in treating yourself because I feel like we all deserve to be treated. We shouldn't wait until things are perfect to feel worthy enough to experience joys in life. All right, so I've been practicing the song for this week. It's a hymn. It's a song I really enjoy. This song means a lot to me because in my grandmother's church, she used to sing this song, like you know how you would sing like the song and then somebody would sing underneath, like just very old school, and it's just like, oh, it just resonated with me so much. But I love the song, and so I'm gonna play. Don't know how well you all are gonna be able to hear because it's over the internet, so I'm sure it's gonna sound whatever. But enough of that. Let's just get to it. And I'm really nervous, so okay. There are some things I may not know. There are some places I can't go. Whew. But I am sure of this one thing, that God is real, for I can feel him deep within. Yes, God is real. He's real in my soul. Yes, God is real, for he has washed and made me whole. Thought so. His love for me is like pure gold. Yes, God is real, for I can feel him in my soul. I'm going to the last verse. I cannot tell just how you felt when Jesus took your sins away. But since that day, yeah, since that hour, God has been real, for I can feel his holy power. Oh, yes, God is real. He's real in my soul. Yes, God is real, for he has washed and made me whole. His love for me is like pure gold. Yes, God is real, for I can feel him in my soul. Yes, God is real, for I can feel him in my soul. Yay. So yay. That was hard. But yes, this is me exercising. This is me practicing. And as you can hear, my voice was shaking and all that stuff, but I'm here, I'm not dead. And so hopefully the next time, while I can't promise that I won't be nervous, I'll be more confident. I can write down in my little notebook that I can do hard things, that I'm capable of doing those hard things, those things that I thought, you know what I mean? Like, wasn't capable. Like, I'm all sweating and everything. Woo. But yes, but I hope this was encouraging. I hope that you got something from this. You're capable of doing hard things. Every small win counts. Celebrate every single small win, even if it's you writing the vision, even if it's you reaching out to somebody and you don't even have anything finished. Celebrate yourself. Like, celebrate. You're worthy of celebration. Yeah, and that's about all I have for today. But hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll be here tomorrow. But have a wonderful weekend. Do the hard things. You're capable. And just celebrate yourself just for existing, because you're worthy, because you are here. Okay? So talk to y'all later. Bye. Happy Friday.